Hello everyone, welcome to Life by Design podcast. I'm Alex, and for those joining us for the first time, we go live every Sunday evening. Super excited to have you here, so let's dive into today's topics. Let me kick things off with a story that really changed my perspective. I was at a funeral in Australia with a colleague, attending the service for his close friend. In Western culture, there's this beautiful tradition where loved ones share their memories of the person who's passed. When my colleague got up to speak, he shared these amazing childhood stories and painted this vivid picture of his friend's journey through life. But what really struck me were his final words, "A life well lived." Just 4 simple words, but they hit deep. It got me thinking, when my time comes, could someone say the same about me? This led me to an even bigger question. What story do I want my life to tell? Today, I'm going to share my journey of finding that answer. I break it down into 3 key phases, starting with what I call the investment phase. Think of it like planting a garden. You can't expect a harvest without first planting seeds and nurturing them. Whether it's in finance, relationships, or personal growth, success requires upfront investment. The moment you turn 18 and get those metaphorical keys to life from your parents, that's when this investment phase needs to kick into high gear. So what exactly should we be investing in? I've identified 4 crucial areas: experiences, knowledge, finances, and mindset. Now, you might be wondering, what's the best way to approach these investments? Let's circle back to our big question. What story do we want our lives to tell? This isn't just some philosophical exercise. It's absolutely crucial for avoiding what I call the default path trap. Without a clear vision, we often end up following the crowd, taking the well-worn path that society lays out for us. Sometimes that works out, but often it leads to a life that doesn't truly reflect who we are or what we want. Before we know it, years have passed and we're living someone else's story. That's why I believe it's essential to sketch out at least a rough draft of the life we want to create. Here's the thing about crafting your life story. You need ingredients to work with. These ingredients are your experiences, the things that light you up and bring you joy. The more ingredients you have, the richer your story can be. Think about it. Ask a concert pianist about their ideal life, and they'll paint a picture filled with music. Ask a mathematician, and they'll describe a life immersed in solving complex problems. But ask a fresh high school graduate? That's tough, because they haven't collected enough ingredients yet to know what really moves them. Finding your passion is both simple and complex. It's straightforward when you know what lights you up, but it can feel impossible when you're still searching. Passion isn't something you can force or fake. It's more like a treasure hunt where you need to explore different territories to find your gold. Some people search their whole lives without finding it. So how do we discover our passion? Through hands-on experience. Lots of it. You can't just theorize about what you might love. You need to get in there and try things out. Here's why deep, sustained experience matters. You can't judge whether something's your passion from just dipping your toe in. Take learning an instrument. At first, it's all scales and basic exercises. Pretty boring stuff. But stick with it, and suddenly you're making music, feeling the joy of creation, and that joy can grow into genuine passion. Quit too early, and you might miss discovering something that could have become central to your life. Even if you ultimately decide it's not for you, at least you'll know for sure. That's why I'm all about maximizing experiences in your early years. If you're unsure about your path, try everything that interests you. Give each experience enough time to really see if it clicks. I spent 17 years, from 18 to 35, in this exploration phase. When you're starting out with nothing to lose, that's the perfect time to experiment and discover. Think of life like a deck of cards. The more cards you play, the better your chances of finding the game you love. Playing just a few hands won't tell you much, but play 100 different games? You're bound to find some that really speak to you. And here's what's really cool. With enough diverse experiences under your belt, you'll likely discover not just one passion, but several. That's the sweet spot. Sometimes, finding even one true passion can be enough to give your life direction and purpose. It becomes the foundation for building a meaningful and fulfilling life story. The second pillar we need to build is knowledge. And here's the thing about knowledge in 2025. It's more accessible than ever before. Think about it. With just a smartphone and internet connection, you've got the equivalent of multiple university libraries at your fingertips. But here's where most people get it wrong. They treat knowledge like a destination when it's really about developing what psychologists call a growth mindset. It's about waking up every day thinking, what can I learn today that will make me just a little bit better than yesterday? Now let's talk about something that might make some of you uncomfortable: money. Specifically, financial freedom. And I want you to start thinking about this from day one of your first job. Here's my radical take. The moment you get that first paycheck, you need to start thinking about two bank accounts. One for living, one for growing. I'm not talking about becoming the next Warren Buffett overnight. I'm talking about breaking free from what I call the paycheck-to-paycheck trap. Whether you're heading to college or jumping straight into work at 18, your first mission is simple. Learn to stand on your own 2 feet financially. It's not about making 6 figures right away. It's about managing whatever figures you have. With the right strategy and persistence, most people can achieve significant financial freedom within about 10 years. That's why starting early is crucial. Those extra years are your secret weapon. And here's a bonus. While you're building your financial muscles, you're also gaining priceless real-world experience that no textbook can teach you. Throughout this journey, I want you to focus on what I call the core 4. Your experiences, your knowledge, your financial freedom, and your relationships. Think of these as your life's investment portfolio. The more you invest in these areas, the clearer your personal roadmap becomes. But here's the plot twist. This roadmap isn't set in stone. Life isn't like following a GPS where you have to make that exact right turn in 500 feet. It's more like having a compass that points you in the general direction of your dreams. Think of it this way. Your life's journey is more like jazz than classical music. In classical music, every note is predetermined. In jazz, you have a basic structure, but there's room for improvisation. That's how you should view your life plan, as a framework that guides you while leaving room for life's spontaneous solos and unexpected harmonies. The key is keeping your eye on that ultimate destination, a life that brings you genuine fulfillment and happiness. Here's the thing about life journeys. They're as unique as fingerprints. Some people hit their stride early, while others take the scenic route. Let's zoom out and look at what we've built over these 17 years of intentional living. Picture this as building your life's toolkit. First, we've collected a treasure trove of experiences. The good, the bad, and everything in between. We've been constant learners, upgrading our knowledge base like we're installing regular software updates. We've set concrete goals around financial independence, because let's face it, money matters. Inner peace, that sweet spot where material things don't own you, and personal growth, always staying curious, always pushing forward. The key? We've learned to go all in on whatever we tackle. Now we're standing on solid ground with that financial freedom we've built. It's like having an invisibility cloak against money worries. But even better, we've got our personal North Star, that clear vision of the life we want to create. We know what makes us tick, what brings us joy, and how we want to contribute to the world. This foundation gives us options. Want to start a family? Go for it. You've got the resources to give them an amazing life, plus the wisdom to guide them right. Your financial cushion means you can focus on being present, not just paying bills. But hey, maybe the white picket fence isn't your thing. Maybe you're more of an entrepreneur at heart. That's where this foundation really shines. You can take those calculated risks that make others nervous because you're playing with house money. You're not betting the farm, literally. Think about it. Who's going to make better decisions? Someone with a safety net or someone one bad move away from disaster? And here's where it gets really interesting. You're not just bringing money to the table. You've got knowledge, experience, and what I like to call educated luck. You know, when preparation meets opportunity. The business world becomes your playground. Whether the market's up or down, you stay centered. Want to run a startup while being an awesome parent? With your foundation, you can juggle both like a pro. This is living life in cheat mode, but you've earned it. All those years of intentional investment have bought you the ultimate luxury: freedom. freedom to chase what lights you up, whatever that might be. But here's where the magic really happens. As you climb Maslow's hierarchy of happiness, you start thinking bigger than yourself. You discover that true fulfillment often comes from creating value for others. I call this the legacy phase. It's not just about charity, though that's cool too. It's about making a dent in the universe, your way. Maybe that means diving into scientific research that could change lives. Maybe it's mentoring the next generation of entrepreneurs. Or maybe it's sharing your hard-won wisdom with anyone who'll listen. The form doesn't matter. What matters is that you're creating ripples that'll continue long after you're gone. Of course, this journey isn't all sunshine and rainbows. You'll hit speed bumps, everyone does. But with your solid foundation, those bumps don't become roadblocks. They're just plot twists in your story. Eventually, you'll start thinking about your encore, how to pass the torch, whether that's to your kids, your business successors, or the next generation of changemakers. Here's a controversial take. When it comes to leaving a legacy, skills beat inheritance every time. Instead of leaving your kids a trust fund, leave them something better: the mindset, skills, and resilience to build their own success story. Money can disappear, but knowing how to create wealth? That's forever. If you're running a business, this is when you start grooming tomorrow's leaders. Same goes for your impact initiatives. You want them to thrive without you. Think of it as building a self-sustaining ecosystem of positive change. This is the masterpiece phase of life, where everything you've built, learned, and created comes together. You're crafting something that'll outlast you, and that's pretty amazing. As we wrap up this roadmap, imagine reaching your 70s with a sense of deep satisfaction. You've built something meaningful, touched lives, and can look back knowing you've lived fully and authentically. Now you can truly relax, enjoying the fruits of a life well crafted. You know, this journey we've mapped out really echoes those timeless values we all recognize: independence, freedom, and happiness. It's like building a house. You start with independence as your foundation, laying those first bricks through financial self-reliance and autonomous thinking. Then you build up your walls of freedom, financial flexibility, mental clarity, and the ability to chart your own course without external pressure. Finally, you crown it all with genuine happiness, the kind that comes from living purposefully. Think about it like compound interest for your life. Every small step forward, every skill mastered, every relationship nurtured compounds over time. Before you know it, you've created something remarkable. Not just a successful life by society's standards, but one that feels deeply fulfilling to you. And here's the beautiful part. Your impact ripples out, inspiring others and making the world a bit better than you found it. Look, I get it. This might sound idealistic when you're grinding through daily life, worried about bills or career moves. But that's exactly why I'm sharing this alternative perspective. It's not about following some rigid blueprint. It's about seeing the bigger picture and crafting your own path to something meaningful. Think of this as your personal GPS. The destination is happiness and fulfillment, but the route? That's yours to customize. If these ideas resonate with you, share them with someone who might need to hear them, especially younger folks just starting their journey. Sometimes all it takes is one conversation to shift someone's perspective and set them on a more intentional path. Thanks for joining me today. Go enjoy your weekend, hug your loved ones, and remember, you're the author of your story. Make it one worth telling.